The screen flickers like an old television, the static crackling and shifting until it fades into a dimly lit room draped in shadows. From the darkness, an animated figure emerges. Their form is ghostly, lines sketchy and blurred, as if drawn by a trembling hand. The figure's eyes, glowing faintly, lock onto the audience with a knowing gaze. In a voice both soothing and eerie, the storyteller begins. Welcome, brave souls, to a place where reality twists into nightmare. These are not stories spun from imagination, but shadows cast by the darkest corners of human experience. What you're about to see is true. As they speak, the room shifts and warps. Walls peel back like parchment, revealing flickering images from the tales ahead. A lonely highway swallowed by fog, a cracked mirror reflecting something unseen, a phone ringing at midnight with no caller ID. The narrator moves through these visions, their voice threading the scenes together. Across time and space, people have faced horrors that defy explanation. Moments when the veil between worlds thinned and the unimaginable stepped through. These stories were told in whispers, passed from terrified lips to fearful ears. Now, through the art of animation, their echoes reach you, vivid, unyielding, real. The room darkens, shadows swirling like ink in water. A low hum grows like distant chanting or the beating of a heavy heart. But beware. Once you see these stories, once you invite the unknown into your mind, it is hard to turn away. Some say that these tales carry a curse, that the nightmares may follow you long after the screen goes dark. The animated storyteller leans closer, eyes narrowing. So listen carefully, watch closely, and remember, what you see here tonight may not stay here. With that final, chilling warning, the figure gestures toward a flickering film reel that unwinds into the night sky, transforming into a highway lost in fog. The scene fades and the first story begins. The screen darkens and then flickers to life with a lonely stretch of highway cutting through thick fog. The moon is barely visible behind the swirling mist. A solitary car drives slowly, headlights piercing the gloom. Our animated protagonist, a young driver named Sam, grips the steering wheel, eyes darting nervously. The radio plays static and faint whispers. It was the middle of the night on a road no one took unless they had to, the narrator intones. Sam was driving home after a late shift, the kind of road where the silence is louder than any sound. Suddenly in the distance a figure appears on the shoulder, a woman pale and soaked from an unseen rain, thumb outstretched in silent plea. Sam slows and pulls over. She was cold, silent, her eyes empty yet begging for help. Something about her didn't feel right. Sam hesitates, heart pounding. Against every instinct, he opens the door. The woman slides inside, never speaking a word. The temperature inside the car plummets, breath turning to mist. The radio sputters, whispering words Sam can't understand. As they drive, the road seems to twist and stretch unnaturally. The woman's face begins to blur, melting into a shadowy void. Suddenly, she vanishes. Sam slams on the brakes, heart racing. Looking in the rearview mirror, he sees her reflection, grinning with hollow eyes. Terrified, he speeds off. Later, police find his car abandoned by the side of the road. No sign of Sam, and on the passenger seat, a single wet footprint, glowing faintly in the moonlight. The scene opens inside a dimly lit apartment. Animated cracks spread across the walls like spiderwebs. A young woman named Mia stands before a mirror, brushing her hair. The reflection seems normal, until the shadows around it begin to twitch. The narrator's voice cuts in. Mia always thought mirrors were just reflections, until she started seeing something else lurking behind her own image. Each night, the shadow in the mirror grows darker, more defined. At first, it only flickers, a vague silhouette standing just behind her reflection. But soon it mimics her movements with a delay, grinning when she frowns and staring when she looks away. One evening, Mia wakes to find her bedroom bathed in moonlight, but the mirror shows a room twisted, warped, with shadows crawling along the floor. She reaches out, fingertips grazing the cold glass. Suddenly, the shadow grabs her wrist from inside the mirror. Mia screams. The glass cracks and the shadow pulls free, an ink-black figure, dripping and shifting, slipping into the room. She backs away, heart pounding, as the figure lunges forward, but then stops. It whispers a name, hers, in a voice that sounds like 100 others, all tangled together. The shadow reveals a dark secret. Mia's family has been cursed for generations, bound to a mirror realm where shadows consume souls. With trembling hands, Mia smashes the mirror, but the shadow only laughs, splitting into smaller shadows that crawl over the walls and disappear into every reflective surface. The narrator warns, "Beware the reflection you trust. Some shadows don't just mimic, they wait." The scene opens in a small apartment, animated in muted blues and grays. A young man named Jake sits on his couch, nervously glancing at the clock. It's almost midnight. The phone rings. Jake answers, but no one speaks, only silence. He hangs up. The clock strikes midnight. The phone rings again. This time, a whisper, barely audible, floats through the line. "I'm watching." Jake freezes. The calls continue every night at exactly midnight. Each time, the voice becomes clearer, sometimes mocking, sometimes threatening. Jake begins receiving messages revealing intimate secrets no one else should know. Forgotten memories, whispered fears, even future events. One night, the caller predicts a tragedy, a fire at Jake's workplace. The next day, the building burns down. Jake's world spirals into paranoia. Friends start avoiding him. Strange figures appear in his peripheral vision. He tries to trace the calls but finds the line is untraceable, as if the caller isn't bound by any earthly phone system. In the dead silence before another call, Jake listens to a final whisper. "You can't hide. I'm already inside." Suddenly, the phone line cuts out, permanently. Jake looks into the darkness, knowing the terror has only just begun. The scene unfolds in a quiet suburban neighborhood, pastel-colored houses lined up under a twilight sky. Our protagonist, Anna, moves into her new home, excited yet uneasy. Across the street lives Mr. Gray, a middle-aged man with a fixed smile and eyes that never seem to blink. The narrator's voice begins. Anna thought the neighborhood was perfect, until the strange behavior of one neighbor started to unravel the safety she felt. Mr. Gray always watches. From behind curtains, through windows, even at night when the lights are off. Anna notices small oddities. Objects misplaced, strange sounds in the walls, the feeling of being followed when she walks outside. One evening, Anna finds her mailbox stuffed with folded notes. No sender, just cryptic warnings and drawings of eyes. Her dog disappears mysteriously, replaced days later by a lifeless toy. Anna tries to confront Mr. Gray, but he always denies, smiling wider, eyes cold and unblinking. Then the power cuts out, plunging the street into darkness. Flickering candlelight reveals Mr. Gray's true form, a shadowy silhouette with elongated fingers, crawling silently on walls and ceilings. He whispers a chilling promise. "You can't leave. This neighborhood owns you now." Anna realizes the house itself is a trap, one of many in a web spun by Mr. Gray, who feeds on fear and secrets. The screen fades as Anna screams, swallowed by the encroaching shadows. The scene opens with a group of paranormal investigators entering a towering, decrepit asylum. The building groans under years of neglect, windows shattered, paint peeling like dead skin. Fog wraps around the rusted gates as the sun sets. The narrator's voice sets the mood. The Hollow Hill Asylum was shut down decades ago, its halls filled with suffering and secrets. Many say the spirits trapped inside never left. Inside, the team's flashlights pierce the darkness, revealing faded medical charts, torn patient clothing, and scratched warnings on the walls. "Leave now." Strange whispers echo, bouncing through the empty corridors. Shadows flicker in the corners, but no one is there. The investigators split up. One descends into the basement, finding old electroshock equipment still warm to the touch. Another sees fleeting figures behind barred windows, patients trapped in time. Suddenly, doors slam shut throughout the asylum, trapping them inside. The temperature plummets. One investigator's breath fogs, then fades to nothing. The walls bleed dark liquid. Figures emerge from the shadows. Disfigured patients with hollow eyes, mouths sewn shut, reaching out in silent screams. The narrator warns, some places remember pain, and in those memories, the dead are hungry. One by one, the team is hunted through winding hallways, becoming part of the asylum's endless nightmare. The last scene fades on a flickering light bulb, buzzing louder and louder until it explodes into darkness. The screen fades into a cozy family living room, bathed in warm light, but the atmosphere quickly turns unsettling. On a worn shelf sits a porcelain doll with glassy eyes that seem to watch everything. The narrator begins. Most children have toys, but some toys have lives of their own. A young girl named Lily treasures this doll named Annabelle, but soon strange things begin to happen. Footsteps echo in empty rooms, objects move places, and at night, the doll's eyes seem to follow the family members. One night, security cameras catch Annabelle slowly turning her head toward the camera, her delicate fingers twitching. Terrified, the family tries to discard the doll, but it always returns, placed back on the shelf, sometimes in different rooms. The doll's origins come to light, crafted in the 19th century by a woman rumored to have dabbled in dark magic, trapping the soul of her victim inside the doll's porcelain shell. The family calls a medium, who warns, the spirit inside is bound by rage and jealousy. It feeds on fear and will never let go. The doll moves faster, scratches appear on walls, and whispers fill the night. The climax builds as the family attempts a ritual to seal Annabelle's spirit forever. But the doll's malevolent energy pushes back, threatening to consume them all. The screen fades with the doll's glass eyes glinting in the dark, promising it's far from finished. The scene opens with a group of friends hiking deep into a dense, ancient forest. The trees tower like silent giants, their leaves whispering secrets on the wind. The sky grows dim as twilight falls. The narrator's voice cuts through the eerie stillness. Some forests are alive, not just with wildlife, but with memories and spirits bound to the earth. This is one such place. As the friends press onward, they begin to hear faint whispers carried on the breeze. At first, they think it's the wind, but the whispers grow clearer, calling names, repeating secrets only the hikers should know. Branches seem to move just out of sight. Shadows flicker in the corners of their eyes. One by one, the group grows uneasy. They try to turn back, but the forest shifts. Trails loop back, trees move, and the path disappears. A sudden scream pierces the night. They find their friend Sarah, pale and trembling, claiming the forest spoke to her, warning of ancient guardians who protect the sacred land from trespassers. The whispers become chants. The forest itself seems to close in, roots twisting, branches reaching like hands, shadows stretching to engulf the group. One by one, the hikers vanish, swallowed by the living forest. The narrator concludes, some places are not meant for humans. The forest remembers, and it always takes back what is owed. The screen opens to a quiet suburban street at dusk, bathed in fading golden light. A young woman named Emily walks home alone, her footsteps echoing softly. The shadows around her stretch longer, darkening unnaturally. The narrator begins. Some fears hide in the corners of our vision, shapes just beyond clarity, stalking us in silence. Emily senses she is being watched. She glances over her shoulder repeatedly, but sees nothing. Still, the feeling grows stronger. Shapes flicker in the periphery, shadows that vanish when she looks directly. At home, she locks every door and window, but the shadows seep beneath cracks and slide through the smallest gaps. She installs cameras, but the footage shows only flickers of darkness moving with impossible speed. One night, Emily feels a presence so close it breathes cold on her neck. She spins, catching only a glimpse, a tall, slender figure made of pure shadow, with no face, no features. The entity whispers her name in a voice that is everywhere and nowhere. Paranoia consumes her. Friends say she's imagining it, but Emily knows the truth. The shadow stalker waits patiently, feeding on fear and growing stronger. On the final night, Emily disappears without a trace. Her last recorded message is a frantic whisper. It's here. Watching. Waiting. The narrator closes. You may not see it, but it sees you. The screen darkens, then slowly brightens to show the animated storyteller from the opening, a shifting figure woven from ink and shadow, seated in the dim room again. The narrator's voice is calm but haunting. You've seen but a fraction of the darkness lurking just beyond our world. These stories are fragments of a greater truth, a tapestry woven from fear, pain, and forgotten nightmares. The room around the figure twists and warps, revealing glimpses of all the stories told: haunted roads, restless shadows, cursed dolls, ancient forests, and the unseen watchers. For every tale you've heard, there are countless others left untold, stories that slither in the dark, waiting to find their next witness. The figure leans forward, eyes glowing bright. Remember this: the shadows are patient, they do not forget, and sometimes, when you think you are alone, they are already with you. The walls bleed ink as the screen flickers violently. Then silence. A final message appears in shaky, handwritten script. Beware the stories you invite in, for some truths never let go. The screen fades to black. If you want to watch more horror movies like this, please like and comment on the video. You must subscribe to our channel and keep the bell icon all press. Thank you.